All praises to Ahaya and Ahaya alone. For Ahaya alone is our master, alone is our savior, alone is our redeemer, and alone is our king. Yada Haya. This is Brother Holly with the first Word of Truth broadcast here on the AHAYAH'S channel, as well as the House of Ahaya channel, on this set apart Sabbath day. First and foremost, as always, children, I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to our Father, Ahaya, Ashahaya, the I am that I am. For he is our master, savior, redeemer, and king. He's our father. He sits in heaven alone, and he rules over the people of Yashahaya forever. We'll be reading from the Learned Paleo Hebrew Torah, Lashwan, Kodash, Holy Tongue, Yashahaya Bible Scriptures. And what we're going to be talking about in the first broadcast, children, is something that just in my opinion, and Ahaya has not left me alone about this, but there seems to be a, for lack of a better term, some of my brothers and sisters who are part of the awakening. When I speak of the awakening, I'm not just talking about realizing that the children of Jacob were the descendants of the former slaves are from the 12 tribes of the descendants of Jacob, in accordance with Deuteronomy 28 and other prophecies found in the TANAK. That's not what I'm talking about. That's well documented and fully trodden. And numerous of us have been told directly from Ahaya who we are and where we came from and who we're descendants of. I myself, one of my best friends in life, shout out to you, Bit, one of my best friends in life told me years ago he had a dream concerning me, that I was walking toward him and two men were walking with me. And he recognized me, and in that dream, he recognized those two men. And I said, well, who was the two men walking with me? He said, one was Abraham and the other one was Isaac. And I said to myself, I said, well, where was Jacob? I was Jacob. Wow. So, now I'm not saying I'm Jacob the man. I'm saying that I am a descendant of the man Jacob. Oh, praises. So, that was confirmation to him who I am. And the Most High has already revealed to me on numerous occasions who I am and who I descend from of the tribes of Jacob. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is the awakening to the reality that there is none other than Ahaya and Ahaya alone. You could call it it's called the Yah only, or the Haya only, or the New Testament onlys, or the Tanakh onlys. But suffice it to say, it is another level of awakening for our people. A lot of our people are waking up from the idolatry, which the New Testament clearly brings out. If I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. Come on now. That's an idol, children. He ain't say he's going to draw people to the Father. Now, did he? He ain't say he's going to draw people to Ahaya. Now, did he? No. He's going to draw people to him. He's an idol child. JC is nothing but an idol. And a lot of our people are waking up to the reality of the idolatry of the New Testament. And they're returning to the true faith found in the Tanakh, or what we refer to as the Old Testament. Now, one of the prophecies in the Old Testament that keeps tripping people up, even after they return to Ahaya and Ahaya alone, is the prophecy of David's seed sitting on David's throne forever. The New Testament solved this dilemma for us by saying, that's JC. But I'm going to show today from the Tanakh, from the Old Testament, from the scriptures, from the truth, that the person that's going to sit on David's throne forever is David himself. And I'm going to show you why that's true. All praises. Turn, if you will, to 1 Chronicles chapter 17. And let's start reading 1 Chronicles 17. Let's start reading at verse 4. 1 Chronicles 17:4. This is Nathan, the prophet, being talked to by Ahiah. It says, go and tell, 1 Chronicles 17:4. Go and tell David, my servant, thus saith I, you shall not build me a house to dwell in, for I have not dwelt in a house since the day that I brought up Yashahiah unto this day, but I have gone from tent to tent and from one tabernacle to another. Get my first time out. Ahiah is speaking through Nathan to David, saying, hey, look, you ain't going to build a house for me. And I ain't never had no crib amongst y'all. I've been living in a tent. I've been living in a rental, moving from tent to tent since y'all left Egypt. Now, a lot of us don't perceive this fact, that in the time of David, they still had the tabernacle that Moses erected in the wilderness. They had kept it. And Ahiah's presence and the altar and the Ark of the Covenant was in a tent all this time. Wow. Hundreds of years, if not thousands, been in a tent. Wow. I'll read it again. 1 Chronicles 17:4 says, go and tell David, my servant, thus saith Ahiah, you shall not build me a house to dwell in, for I have not dwelt in a house since the day that I have brought up Yashahiah unto this day, but have gone from tent to tent, and from one tabernacle to another. Wheresoever I have walked with all Yashahiah, spake I a word to any of the judges of Yashahiah, whom I commanded to feed my people, saying, why have ye not built me a house of cedars? He said, look, I ain't talked to nobody about that. I ain't talked to the judges about that. I ain't talked to nobody about it. But David took it upon himself. You know, I'm putting fill in here for conversation's sake. David had took it upon himself to start building the house. But I said, no, you ain't gonna do that. I gotta have somebody to talk to you, because you about to do something I don't want you to do. So he moved upon Nathan to talk to David. Say, you ain't the one to build a house. Let's continue. Verse 7, 1 Chronicles 17:7. Now therefore, thus shall you say unto my servant David, thus saith Ahiah of armies, I took you from the sheepfold, even from following the sheep, that you should be ruler over my people Yashahiah. And I have been with you wheresoever you have walked, and have cut off all your enemies from before you. He made all of David's enemies his footstool. Don't let that go over your head. And have made you a name, like the name of the great men that are in the earth. Also, I will ordain a place for my people, Yashahiah, and I will plant them, and they shall dwell in their place, and shall be moved no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness waste them anymore, as at the beginning. I said, look, I'm gonna give them a permanent dwelling place, where the wicked nations can't rule over them and harass them no more. Oh, praises. This is 1 Chronicles 17:10. And since the time that I commanded judges to be over my people Yashahiah, moreover, I will subdue all your enemies. Furthermore, I tell you that Ahiah will build you a house. So he told David through Nathan, look, you're not going to build me a house, but I'm going to build you one. Wow. Plagiarism alert, plagiarism alert. Plagiarism alert. Didn't that plagiaristic lie in the New Testament say, I go to build a place for you? Move on. His father said that to David. Move on. Verse 11, 1 Chronicles 17:11. And it shall come to pass when your days be expired, that you must go to be with your fathers, that I will raise up your seed after you, which shall be of your sons, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build me a house, and I will establish his throne forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. And I will not take my mercy away from him, as I took it from him that was before you. Which king was before David? That would be Saul, the first king of Yashahiah. Ahiah took his mercy away from Saul. He promised never to remove his mercy from David. Now he's saying through Nathan, I won't remove from your seed, from your son that's going to sit on your throne forever. I ain't going to remove my mercy from him either. But you said in your prelude, Brother Holly, that we were going to see that this ain't talking about JC. So far, it seems like it's just talking about JC. Let's continue reading. 1 Chronicles 17:13, and I will be his father, and he shall be my son, and I will not take my mercy away from him, as I took it from him that was before you. But I will settle him in my house, and in my kingdom forever, and his throne shall be established forevermore. According to these words, and according to all this vision, did Nathan speak unto David. Now, we see what Nathan was told to tell David. Now let's see what Ahiah said to David personally. Let's go to 1 Chronicles 22. We were in 1 Chronicles 17. Turn over to 1 Chronicles 22. Now David is talking to his son Solomon. And David's about to tell you what Ahiah told him personally. 1 Chronicles 22:7. And David said to Solomon, my son, as for me, it was in my mind to build a house unto the name of Ahiah, my almighty Hayah. But the word of Ahiah came to me, saying, you have shed blood abundantly, and have made great wars. You shall not build a house unto my name, because you have shed much blood upon the earth in my sight. Who gave that word to David? Who gave that word of Ahiah? David. We just read it. That was Nathan. Verse 9 is key. Behold, a son shall be born to you, who shall be a man of rest, and I will give him rest from all his enemies. The Prince of Peace. Round about. For his name shall be Solomon. Give me my second time out. The one who is the Prince of Peace, the son of the king, the one who would have rest, the one who would have Sabbath, the one who would have peace. His name was Solomon. This is what David was told. He was told, this is the one, Solomon, not JC, not some person to come in the sweet by and by. Oh, Solomon was going to come. Solomon was the son. He was told Solomon would be the son before Solomon was even born. He was told this. He talking to Solomon, but he was told his name shall be Solomon. So he knew what to name that boy. Wow. I'll continue to read. Let's read it again. 1 Chronicles 22:8. But the word of Ahiah came to me, saying, you have shed blood abundantly, and have made great wars. This is 1 Chronicles 22:8. Talking about David. This is David talking to Solomon about the promise that Ahiah gave through Nathan. And have made great war. You shall not build a house unto my name, because you have shed much blood upon the earth in my sight. Behold, a son shall be born to you. So when David was told this by Nathan, he didn't even have Solomon, wasn't even born. I just said that. But see, some of you say, oh, no, that can't be right. Yeah, it is right. It says so right here. Verse 9 again, behold, a son shall be born to you, who shall be a man of rest, and I will give him rest from all his enemies round about. For his name shall be Solomon, and I will give peace and quietness unto Yahshua in his days. Wow, the Prince of Peace. So when you fly over to Isaiah, talking about his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Prince of Peace. Who's the Prince of Peace? First Chronicles 22. Who's Prince of Peace? What's his name? Solomon. Wow. The case for JC is getting shakier by the day. And I said this to one of my dear, I call my Air Force children. Brother Holly was in the Air Force for decades. And during that time, I had many subordinates, troops, for lack of a better term, that I kind of adopted. I kind of took them in like kids. And since the Most High never gave me any daughters from my flesh, the Air Force gave me daughters. So one of my Air Force daughters called me yesterday. I talked to her for about a couple of hours. If you're out there, Jay, bless you, baby. And I was talking to her about this. How that, once you've been over in that New Testament for so long, you gotta unwash your brain. Because you keep all these this New Testament chicanery, for lack of a better term, and you bring it over here into the Old. You keep looking at the Old Testament, looking to try to fulfill something in the New, instead of seeing the Old Testament as it is, the only testament, and it fulfills itself. And that's what we're looking at today. The promise of someone from David's seed sitting on his throne forever. We're going to see why that's not so anymore. Oh, it was a legitimate promise made by AHAYAH to Solomon. We just found out who it was made to, Solomon. We're going to find out that it was made to Solomon, and Solomon knew that this was the promise made to him. He's being told by David here, but we're going to read in a little bit where AHAYAH is speaking to him directly. The conditions are on that promise. See, the New Testament poisoned all of our mine included, that the promises of AHAYAH, it even says so in that blasphemous document called Romans. Don't let that go over your head. Why would a bunch of Hebrews need a book called Romans? I rest my case. But in that blasphemous book called Romans, it says that the promise, the gifts and callings, without repentance, or can't be disannulled, can't be taken back. Hence, trying to push the false dogma of unconditional promises, unconditional love, unconditional promises. Did the Most High make some unconditional promises? Yeah, he made them to David. He made unconditional promises to David, but not to David's son, not to Solomon, not to the children of Jacob, not to us. There were conditional promises. You don't have to go very far to find a conditional promise, now do you? They're all over those if statements in the Torah and in the prophets. Isaiah chapter 1, if you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. If you refuse and rebel, you shall die by the sword. That's a conditional promise. If we be willing and obedient, we'll have the good. But if we refuse and rebel, we're going to get cut down. That's just the way it is. That's called a conditional promise. You meet the condition, then you get the blessing. See, you and I have been brainwashed that we don't have to meet any conditions. All conditions were met by the substitute. And all you got to do is just enjoy the benefits. No questions asked, no strings attached. No, that ain't how it is at all. That's why it's so addictive. It's like crack for your brain. It's like mainlining heroin for your brain. You know, I was talking to somebody and they told me that they tried the magic mushrooms, a microdose of magic mushroom, and they told me, I was in a place where everything was okay. I ain't never felt like that. I said, I ain't gonna try that. Because that's how the New Testament hook you. It hook you with the same kind of sensation. That I ain't gotta do nothing and everything gonna be fine. Wow. That's dope, child. First Chronicles 22:10 again. He shall build a house for my name, and he shall be my son, and I will be his father. Exactly what Nathan was told to tell David. And I will establish the throne of his kingdom over Yashahiah forever. Now this is David talking to his son Solomon, who was named and pointed to before he was even born. We've established that right here in 1 Chronicles 22. David's telling his son Solomon what was going to happen to him when he grew up. He knew it before he was even born. Wow. I'll read verse 10 again. 1 Chronicles 22:10. He shall build a house for my name, AHAYAH'S speaking, and he shall be my son, and I will be his father, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom over Yashahiah forever. This is a promise. Now, my son, Ahiah be with you and prosper you, and build the house of Ahiah, your almighty Hayah, as he hath said of you. He said this about you, so go do it. Only, verse 12, here's the condition. Only Ahiah give you wisdom and understanding, and give you charge concerning Yashahiah, that you may keep the Torah law of Ahiah, your almighty Hayah. Condition. Then shall you prosper if you take heed to fulfill the statutes and the judgments which Ahiah charged Moses, which concerning Yashahiah. Be strong and of good courage. Dread not, nor be dismayed. He told him, look, you're going to have to follow the law that Ahiah gave Moses. Give me a full time out. Wait a minute. Ahiah said that Solomon was going to be his son, and Ahiah was going to be his father. And he's going to establish his throne forever. But it seems like David put a condition on that. Well, let's see if Ahiah put that same condition. Because there was no condition when Nathan was told what to tell David. Now, you could construe successfully that David put that condition and Ahiah never did. Let's see if Ahiah put that condition. Before we read that, we're gonna nail this down, that this promise was to Solomon and Solomon alone to rule over Yashahiah as the seed of David forever. That the seed of David will rule over Yashahiah forever was to Solomon and Solomon alone. It wasn't to whoever came of David's seed line for the rest of eternity. Nope, 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 nope. That ain't how it went. It was a promise to a single person. Well, Brother Holly, how is that possible? I thought you believed in the New Testament. Simple one. With God, all things are possible. Don't you know Most High can raise people from the dead? He did it in the TANAK. Resurrection from the dead and eternal resurrection is not a New Testament concept, is it? No, you can go to Daniel chapter 12 and see that. Some going to be raised to everlasting life and others going to be raised to everlasting condemnation. Period, point blank, full stop. So you can miss me with how something can be forever in AHAYAH'S kingdom and in AHAYAH'S purview. Okay? Don't get simple-minded. Stay with the truth. Stay with the word. Let's continue to read. 1 Chronicles 28. Let's start reading at verse 3. This is to further illustrate the point and to prove beyond shadow of a doubt that this was a promise to one man, Solomon. 1 Chronicles 28 and 3. But the Almighty High, and this is David speaking. I'll read verse 2. Then David the king stood upon his feet. 1 Chronicles 28 and 2. Then David the king stood upon his feet and said, Hear me, my brethren, and my people. As for me, I had in my heart to build a house of rest for the ark of the covenant of AHAYAH, and for the footstool of our Almighty Hayah, and had made ready for the building. He's talking to the people. He said, look, it was in my heart to build the temple, to build the dwelling place of AHAYAH. Because we found out through Nathan, AHAYAH been living in a tent. He ain't had no permanent dwelling place. And he seemed kind of miffed about it. Like, look, I've been just moving from tent to tent. This is getting kind of old. I've been living in a rental. I want a permanent house. 1 Chronicles 28:3. I digress. But AHAYAH said unto me, but the Almighty Hayah said unto me, You shall not build a house for my name, because you have been a man of war and have shed blood. Same thing he told Solomon. Howbeit, AHAYAH, Almighty Hayah of Yashahiah, chose me before all the house of my father to be king over Yashahiah forever. This is my last time out. Here David realized that he was chosen to be king forever. Not his seed, but him. Forever. And in Psalm 89, there was no condition on that promise. 1 Chronicles 28 and 4, Howbeit AHAYAH, Almighty Hayah of Yashahiah, chose me before all the house of my father to be king over Yashahiah forever. For he hath chosen Judah to be the ruler, and of the house of Judah, the house of my father, and among the sons of my father, he liked me to make me king over all Yashahiah, and of all my sons, for AHAYAH hath given me many sons. He said, listen, he chose me, and of all my sons, I got a bunch of them. He hath chosen Solomon, my son, to sit upon the throne of the kingdom of AHAYAH over Yashahiah. And he said unto me, this is 1 Chronicles 28:6, and he said unto me, Solomon your son, he shall build my house and my courts, for I have chosen him to be my son, and I will be his father. Moreover, I will establish his kingdom forever, if he be constant to do my commandments and my judgment at this day. So AHAYAH told David the condition of Solomon sitting on the throne of David forever. He had to be constant and keep the commandments all the days of his life. That's all. Now, let's see AHAYAH telling Solomon the same thing. 2 Chronicles, chapter 7. We're making a case here. If you just tune in or you skip forward in this presentation, this is the case we're making. We're making a case that the promise given to David and to Solomon, that someone of David's seed line, and we determined it's one particular person in his seed line. We just read it from 1 Chronicles 28. David had a lot of sons, but he chose one of his sons to sit on his throne forever. That would be Solomon. But it was a condition to that son of David, or the seed of David sitting on the throne forever. The condition was that person had to keep the commandments all their life. That's all. And then the promise would be sure to them. Wow. Let's find out. Let's get a second witness on that. 2 Chronicles chapter 7, start reading at verse 16. For now I have chosen and sanctified this house. This is Ahai speaking. For now I have chosen and sanctified this house, that my name might be there forever, and my eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually. And as for you, if you will walk before me as David your father walked, and do according to all that I have commanded you, and observe my statutes and my judgments, then will I establish the throne of your kingdom according as I have covenanted with David your father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man to be ruler over Yashahayah. Conditional promise from the mouth of Ahayah to Solomon. If you will do it, I'll do it. Wow, I'll read it again. I know some of you you've been smoking that crack pipe of the New Testament all your life. But as my daddy told me one day, he said, son, don't be stupid all your life. So I'm saying to you children, don't be slow all your life. You can read, I pray. I pray you can read. If you can't read, you can hear me read. Or turn on the closed captions. They'll keep up. All praises. 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 17. It says, as for you, this is Ahayah speaking to Solomon. It says, as for you, if you will walk before me as David your father walked, and do according to all that I have commanded you, and shall observe my statutes and my judgments, then will I establish the throne of your kingdom according as I have covenanted with David your father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man to be ruler over Yashahayah. But if you turn away, conditional promise. But if you turn away and forsake my statutes and my commandments, which I have set before you, and shall go and serve idols and worship them. Why don't you say other gods, Brother Holly? Because there are no other gods. One, and Psalms, I think it's Psalms 86 and 5 or 96 and 5 says all the gods of the nations are idols. So if other gods equals idols, biblically, TANAK level. Other gods equal idols. So you turn and go and serve idols and worship them. Then, this is 2 Chronicles 7:20. Then will I pluck them up by the roots out of the land, speaking of the people, which I have given them, and this house which I have sanctified for my name will I cast out of my sight, and I will make it to be a proverb and a byword among all nations. And this house which is high shall be an astonishment to everyone that passes by it, so that he shall say, why have Ahayah done this unto this land, unto this house? And it shall be answered, because they forsook Ahayah, Almighty Hayah of their fathers, which brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, and laid hold on idols, and worshiped them, and served them. Therefore he had brought all this evil upon them. Whoa, give me my last time out. I got one more. Whoa, give me my last time out. It went for what Solomon would do. What Solomon would do would affect everybody. If Solomon disobeyed Ahayah and went to serving other gods and worshiping them, then Ahayah would kick everybody out. Close down the house, kick everybody out. And everybody, it'd be said of everybody, they forsook. Wow. You can look back on these channels, child. in the book of Jubilees, I forget what chapter. I think it's chapter 22 of Jubilees. It talks about if one man of our people is out there with some woman or some strange land, he gonna bring curse on us all. All you passport brothers out there. You wonder why people still messed up as a group. Because you out there laying up with strange women. You doing the same thing that got Solomon disqualified. But we read it. We just read it here in 2 Chronicles chapter 7. The promise is conditional. The promise of a son of David, the seed of David sitting on David's throne was conditional, wasn't it? What was the condition? That you didn't go and serve other gods. Didn't go and serve idols. Let's see, did Solomon do that? And the same discussion is not only in 2 Chronicles chapter 7, it's also in 1 Kings chapter 9. That's just for your 1 Kings chapter 9, verse 4 through 9, for your second witness on that. On the promise of the seed of David sitting on David's throne forever being conditional. And the condition is you don't serve idols. Because if you go, Solomon, and serve idols, I'm not just going to get rid of you. I'm getting rid of everybody. I'm going to kick everybody out of the land. I'm going to shut the temple down, everything. It's going to be a byword. Wow. Let's see if Solomon kept it. 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1. Woo! It says, but King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughters of Pharaoh, the women of the Moabites, Amorites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites. Okay. Okay, what's wrong with that, bro? What's wrong with that? One, he disobeyed the judgments and statutes of AHAYAH. Right there, and I believe it's in Deuteronomy chapter 4, it's a prohibition against marrying up with women of the other nations, women of other nationalities. It's not a race thing. Race is a 14th century, 13th century construct. It's a nationality thing. Chinese and Japanese people are of the same race but different nationalities. The prohibition was women of other nations, other nationalities. And before you start, swerving in your mind saying, oh, so you're saying, Brother Holly, if she's an American, and I'm an American, we can get together no matter we are different race. Nah, man, that ain't what I'm saying at all. Because in the time that the prohibition was written, there were no melting pot nations. People were part of a nation. And that's just the way it was. You stayed within your nation. And the children of Jacob were told to stay within ourselves. Okay? So all you brothers you just following the illogical, sinful nature of King Solomon. I just read to you what happened because of what he did, what we read about what he did. I just told you what was going to happen. The promise that David would be a man sitting on David's throne forever after him, broke, gone. That ain't going to happen no more. Kicked out the land. Temple shut down. All that because of what I'm reading right now. I'll read it again. 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1. And it's been 39 minutes. Thank you for your patience. I know this has been long, and thank you for your patience, but we got to talk about this. This will shut the door on the New Testament, man. This will shut it down once for all. But King Solomon, this is 1 Kings 11, chapter 11, verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughters of Pharaoh, the women of the Moabites, Amorites, Edomites, Zidonians, Hittites, of the nations concerning which Ahiah said unto the children of Yashahiah, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their idols. Solomon clave unto these in love. Solomon loved these women. And he cleaved to them. He wouldn't leave them, he was cleaving. Wow. But if you cleave to them, they're going to turn your heart away from Ahiah to serve their idols. Let's see if it happened to him. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. 1,000 women. Come on, Solomon. That's 1,000 women. Whew. And his wives turned away his heart. What? Well, and it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart. This is verse 4. 1 Kings 11:4. Turned away his heart after idols. And his heart was not perfect with Ahiah, his almighty Ahiah, as was the heart of David, his father. What would happen if he did that? What did Ahiah say? That he would no longer be king. That the promise that David there would be a clear succession of people of David's seed sitting on David's throne forever would be gone. Temple would be shut down, and the people kicked out the land. All he had to do was keep his heart perfect until the day he died. But when he was old, he didn't do that. Nope. He started worshiping other. He started worshiping idols. He started serving idols. Let's read it. For Solomon went after, I ain't going to read the name because we know the prohibition, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after, I ain't going to read the name, the abomination of the Moabites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of Ahiah. This is 1 Kings 11:6. And went not fully after Ahiah as David his father. Then did Solomon build a high place for, I ain't going to read the name, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that was before Jerusalem. And for, I ain't going to read the name, the abomination of the children of Ammon. So he was not only worshiping these idols, he was building their high places. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrifice unto their idols. And Ahiah was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from Ahiah, almighty Ahiah of Yashahiah, which had appeared unto him twice. Ahiah came to Solomon not once, but twice. And he still turned away after idols. And this is 1 Kings 11:10. And had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after idols, but he kept not that which Ahiah had commanded. Wherefore Ahiah said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of you, and you have not kept my covenant and my statute which I commanded you, I will surely rend the kingdom from you and give it to your servant. Notwithstanding, in your days, I will not do it for David your father's sake. So he said, as long as you're alive, I ain't going to do this for David your daddy's sake. But I will rend out of the hand of your son. Line broken. Because Solomon's son would be a son of David, would he not? A descendant of David, would he not? Kingdom taken away right there. You can just, if you want to believe that the New Testament is real and that JC is of the line of David, and that because of that, he had a right to sit on David's throne forever. No, you don't. Solomon messed that up for the whole line. All praises to Ahiah and Ahiah alone. For Ahiah alone is our master, alone is our savior, alone is our redeemer, alone is our king. David's going to sit on his own throne forever. Yada. Hiya.